Hey everyone, welcome to AMZ Simple. My name is Eric Syverson, and this is our first episode of our tutorial series in order to help you get set up and start learning how to sell on Amazon. So, welcome aboard. Today we're going to be talking about setting up an LLC or corporation. We're also going to talk about your tax IDs that you'll need, and also setting up business bank accounts, and a couple other things as well. But these will be the first of the journey here. This is the foundation of your business. This is the foundation of your account, and this is very important information. So, make sure you have a pen and paper, take some notes, and we'll get started. First things first, the information I share with you today is not legal advice or tax advice. I'm basically just going to show you the things that I would do for myself or other people that we have helped. However, if you need to talk to an attorney or an accountant, I always suggest that you do that to make sure that you set everything up and all the businesses are set up properly for your individual needs. So let's get started. So in selling on Amazon, you have a few different options. You can be a sole proprietor, which means you're going to use your social security number, or you can be a corporation or an LLC, which means you'll get a tax ID number that will reference back to your corporation. For many Amazon sellers, including myself, setting up an LLC is typically the way that I go. And it helps me keep everything organized. It helps me keep my financial information, my expenses, everything organized under one corporation, as well as provides a little protection as well. So depending where you live, I live in Florida, so it's actually a pretty simple process. Every website for every state will be different. But today I'm just going to take you on a little quick tour of what we have in Florida in order to set up an LLC. This is something, again, you can have an attorney do it or a professional do it for you. I personally do them myself. I find it pretty easy to do, and it's, it'll obviously be a little more cost effective if you do it yourself. But again, it's up to you, whatever suits you best. So let's take a journey here into the Florida Department of State, and you'll typically find a Department of State website in your state to be able to look up pretty much the similar information, right? So let's go here. We're in the Florida Department of State, right here under corporations, this first tab. And this is going to take me down to basically start a business, right? So in the start a business tab, you can see start an e-filing for a limited liability company. So basically click on here. And, there's a few little pieces of information just to make sure that this is for you. You click right here, file for this. And basically here, you're going to basically click that you've read the disclaimer and start a new filing, right? So start a new filing here. Basically simple information, just going to ask you the date of the start of the corporation if you need a different date than the actual date that you file. And you can get a certified copy, stuff like that. I don't personally do it, but again, this is up to you, however you want to do it yourself. What you'll do is create a name for the corporation. It's one that has not been used previously by someone else in the state. So you'll make sure that is the case, or they will not allow you to file that corporation. So basically a couple of bits of information you'll need there. You're going to put your business address. There's place of business and there's also your mailing address. Those can be the same. That's up to you. Whatever you decide is your place of business, if it's your home, whatever the case may be. But that's where any kind of letters or any kind of information will be sent. So just put that there. The mailing address you can keep as the same if it is. But again, you'll just put the correct information in there. And then you'll have the name and the address of the registered agent. So in the registered agent, typically, it'll be, if it's your corporation, you might want to put it as you. But again, this is, you set this up the way that you want it to be. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe there's multiple people that are partners in this. And that's where this comes into play. But again, you're going to put the information that best suits you. And again, if this is something that you need advice from legal, then I would suggest doing it. Me personally, mine are very simple. So I just set these up very simple. So here you'll put, the name and the address of the registered agent, which is the person who is the contact to, if there was a lawsuit to be served or any kind of contact information that goes out for the corporation, typically from the state maybe or elsewhere. That's who would actually receive this info. So sometimes people have their attorneys here. Sometimes people just put it to themselves. Again, you set this up however is necessary for you. That person will sign here digitally. And then, the basic details, again, your annual report information. This is contact information where they will send you usually a reminder to, renew your corporation, which typically is after January 1. You'll have to renew again. I think typically in Florida, they give us till about May 1st to do it. If not, you pay a hefty penalty if you need to reinstate it. So make sure you file on time. And, that's where this information is going to go to here. Then you're going to go drop down to the name and address of the person authorized to manage your LLC, right? So this is typically the owners of the company or the partners of the company. That's whose information will go here. It could have multiple partners, could have a single member LLC. But again, this is all based upon your corporation, what you need for your business, and then basically you'll continue from here. So pretty straightforward steps. Nothing too challenging on this. So it's very simple, straightforward steps. You'll basically just fill this out as necessary, and then from here we'll move on. So once you've filed the corporation and you've gone through the necessary steps and continued on till the end, you make a payment. In Florida, it's about $125. In your state might be a little different. It all depends. But what happens with our in Florida here, it actually allows us to complete the transaction at the end. Usually takes about a few days for the corporation to officially get approved, but it will start showing up. For us, it's sunbiz.org. We can actually look it up and then see the corporation names and then take it from there. From there, you should be actually able to, go take the next step and file for an FEIN, which is what we're going to show you here, right? So a federal tax ID number, which is basically a social security number for your business. This can be done at the IRS website. Again, I find it very easy to do on my own. However, again, if you need to seek advice or a professional to do this for you, they will do it typically for a fee. And either way, it can get done. So here we are, IRS, right? So what you're going to do here is you are going to file and apply for an employer identification number, right? So an EIN. So it's a federal EIN. Down here, you're going to see just a little bit of details about how it works, some information, whatever you need. When you're ready, and if this is for you, you would click apply for the EIN. This will take you to, obviously, a disclaimer here. And then again, a little bit of information that they have, maybe some restrictions. Just read the details, make sure this is right for you. And you can go here to begin application. And basically, this is pretty simple here. So in my case, filing an LLC, I would actually go right here to the limited liability company tab, select it, continue. And then this also gives, again, a little more detail, read it as you need. For me, I'm going to continue. How many members in the LLC? So, if you included a single member LLC, you'll just put one. If you were multiple members or multiple partners in there that are included into that corporation, you're going to put that number here. And let's say I put 1, and then please select the state that you are in. So in my case, it'll be Florida. Continue. And again, a little bit more information, details about what you might need. Continue. And then it says, why is the LLC requesting an EIN? So basically it's, start a new business. If in this case it will be, but, hired employees, banking purposes, change of organization. So there's multiple different reasons why people would need an EIN, but in this case, we're going to click started your business. Then you have here, so this is the responsible party. This is the person that the IRS will be looking for to take care of taxes. And so that, obviously this, if you're the single member, and if you're, the owner, this would typically be you. But again, you put whatever information is the right information for their questions, whatever they need. And again, all these steps are pretty self-explanatory. You'll continue to take this and continue down the path until, you've addressed number 3 is addresses, 4 is some details, and 5 is the actual confirmation that you've been assigned the EIN. So the good news on the FEIN is that you're typically issued it right away. If there is an issue, they will tell you there would be an error. And in that case, you'll have to do something, maybe file a form or some kind of document that they'll be looking for. But again, they'll tell you what that is, or you can call the IRS to work it out. In most cases, you'll get through these steps and you'll be able to get your EIN right at the end and be able to start using your corporation and this document. So, one thing to make sure at the end, once you complete this information, you're going to get a document that you can print that's going to show your new FEIN number. You're going to need this for your business bank account. So make sure you print it. You're going to need to basically show them your corporation and the FEIN document. So these are important things to have. And this is the beginning steps, right? So one thing that is very, very important, and this is something that you have to think of from the very, very beginning, is that every document that you fill out, for, whether it be the IRS, your corporation, your business bank account, every single detail has to match. And this comes into the verification process that Amazon will do after you supply these documents to them. So what I mean by that, this is very strict, right? And you might think it's overkill, and maybe it is, but Amazon is very strict on how they do this. They want to make sure that everything is an exact match. If you live or you're working on a street, and instead of using ST as street in your address, if you wrote out street, STREET, when you filed your corporation, you need to make sure that you do it the same exact way when you file with the IRS. And you need to make sure you also do it the same way when you open your business bank account. If your address ends in road and you spell RD period, then I would use RD period on every document that you then apply for with the IRS, the bank account. It all has to match exactly. So if there's a suite number, if you write suite space, number sign, space, 123, and you do that with your corporate documents when you file for your LLC or your corporation, you have to do it the exact same way. I can't express this enough. I know it sounds maybe a little crazy, but I will say that it is very, very important to have those documents be a perfect match. And what's going to happen is this. Amazon is going to ask to review your information and verify that everything is accurate. And very well that they could reject something based upon that mismatch, a very simple mismatch. And what happens is, once you've opened a business bank account and you've received your first statement, you're going to use that statement to upload into Amazon, as well as a utility bill, which you're going to need a bill like a water bill, gas bill, electric, phone bill, whatever it is. But you have to, again, have it in the exact address that you filed all these documents. So all of this has to match in order for you to get verified and get past that verification process to be able to start your account. So without that, you're actually going to need to adjust the details on one of those, whether it's the business bank account, your billing for your phone if you use that, or whatever utility you use. You're going to have to make that match, and then you're going to have to wait for another statement. So again, this could put you back a little bit of time if you don't do it right up front. So make sure you take those extra steps. I know it sounds a little crazy, but I will say that it's very important. And if you take the necessary steps up front, you're not going to have to redo anything. You're not going to have to lose any time. It's going to be a perfect setup. The next step is opening your business bank account, which is very straightforward, very simple process. You're going to go to the bank of your choice. You'll take your corporate documents. You'll take your FEIN document and your ID. You'll go in there and open up a bank account that best suits you. And from there, just make sure when you're talking to them about setting up the account, just make sure that they're writing out the details exactly as you need, because again, you're going to need that bank statement with those exact address matches, the corporation match. Everything has to match. So you're going to need those documents to get verified. So just tell them up front, so this way you don't waste any time. One thing to note for the business bank account, very simple, is to make sure your mailing address for that bill goes to the exact matched address. Do not change it. Do not send it anywhere else. You're going to need that bank statement. One of the things to keep in mind, especially when you're looking for a bank, is just make sure it's one that suits your needs. Make sure it has very low or no fees. especially when it comes to your balances or, checking. Just make sure you do due diligence and make sure you're finding a bank that works for you, hopefully close to you, and someone you can talk to and have a good open relationship with your banker so that this way, if you do need anything, you can get something done. The last piece of information that you're going to need, and again, has to match the details, but a bill. You're going to need some kind of bill, whether it's a water bill or electric bill, gas bill. If you have a warehouse, obviously this is probably the easiest one to use. If you're using a home address, then again, you can probably use one of your existing accounts, whether it be a phone bill, whatever the case may be. But again, just make sure all those details match identical to what you've put on your corporation. And if not, go ahead and change it and make sure it matches. And then you'll get a new statement and you'll be able to use that statement when you go to apply to Amazon to make sure that your verification process goes nice and smooth. You don't want to have any delays. One of the things I noticed, especially a very easy mistake to make, especially with your corporation name. So let's say in this case, our company was AMZ Simple, comma, LLC. One of the things when you file these documents or set them up, make sure you're putting that comma, LLC. Do not just put the name AMZ Simple or whatever the corporation name is. You have to make sure you put that comma, you put the LLC. Again, this is a very common mismatch that I see all the time. So make sure you take that step. I know it sounds crazy. I know I'm redundant on this fact, but I will promise you that those little things are going to make a difference. Now let's talk about a benefit that can actually save you some money, right? So one of the things, if you're purchasing goods and then reselling them, there's something called a reseller certificate. And every state should have it. You can apply in your state. I'm going to show you how we do it here in Florida. And basically what this does, it allows you to not pay tax on your purchases of goods that you're going to resell. So you could be saving a ton of money. It could be, here in Florida, 6-7% on the sales tax. So again, all of your purchases saving 6-7%, that's money in your pocket. So you got to take advantage of every savings, every dollar you can to make more money. So let's take a look at this. So in Florida, it's the Florida Department of Revenue, and maybe in your state, I would just also Google, if you're a California Department of Revenue, whatever the state you're in, Google that, and you should come up with something very similar to this. In our state here, registering a business, you'd see annual resale certificate for sales tax. So this basically lays it out, all the details of what you need. Shows you some examples, making purchases, give you the details of how you'll save these taxes and what you need to do to comply. There are quarterly filings for the state here. But again, this is something that, again, if you need some advice, seek an attorney, seek an accountant, seek somebody that's going to give you the proper advice for you to make sure that this is right for you. In this case, I do it for myself on a regular basis for every company that I set up. So basically, you'll file for this document. And same thing, you're going to basically supply, multiple pieces of information for your corporation, your personal details, and then they will issue you as long as everything works out, they'll issue you a reseller certificate, which you'll need to keep a copy of. Keep it, electronically, keep it on your computer or in your email, somewhere where you're going to be able to forward this to different vendors, different suppliers, distributors you work with. They're all going to want a copy of that to keep on file for their records. This will help you avoid those sales tax charges that they would normally put on your bill. So this is very important. This is a huge money saver. So definitely take advantage of it if you can, if it's right for you, and definitely a good way to save some money and put more money in your pocket. And just to make sure, this is something that does require tax filings. So make sure you can do it yourself or seek advice of an accountant that can do it for you. But again, make sure you do it. There are penalties if you're late on your filings. So you want to make sure that you comply with it and do it accurately. So lastly, let's talk about trademarks and brand registry. So if you're doing private label, one of the things that I would suggest, and I think it's very important, is that you file for a trademark if you don't already have one. And what you can do is once you get that trademark, you can actually, or even have a pending trademark, you can file for brand registry with Amazon. And what that does is that it opens up a plethora of great ways to advertise your brand, protect your brand, and also, things like sponsored brand advertising, A plus content, which A plus content, one of my favorites is, just a bunch of different modules that you can own a ton of real estate on your main listing page that allows you to include infographics, brand stories, all kinds of selling tools to be able to showcase your brand to that customer that's on your page, and using videos, video ads. So all of these tie into brand registry, and you can also protect your brand, right? You can keep hijackers off your listing. You can protect your intellectual property. It's a great way. Plus, you can actually start up an Amazon store in your brand, and that allows you to drive traffic to your store and showcase all of your items that are available to your potential consumers. So there's a lot of traffic that goes there. So this is a great way, especially on private label. It's the way to go. I would highly suggest it. As far as filing for a trademark, you can do it a couple different ways. You can, if you wanted to do it yourself, which I do, I go to LegalZoom.com and I file for a trademark. It's pretty simple. They have a pretty straightforward process. But again, if this is something you're not comfortable with and you're not ready to do it on your own, you can always seek the advice of an attorney. That there's plenty of trademark attorneys out there that'll do it. The other option that they offer, and this is an Amazon program, it's called the Accelerator Program, IP Accelerator. So what happens here is that they have vetted trademark attorneys. They also have different services, but they have trademark attorneys that are already vetted by Amazon. You can have them file the trademark for you, and they have a fee. They list a fee on Amazon. So what happens is they automatically enroll you into brand registry when you use that IP Accelerator program. I've always done it this way. However, I do believe from information that I heard is that you can actually have a pending trademark now and apply for brand registry on your own. So the accelerator program might cost you a little bit extra. I've always done it that way because I always knew that it was a fast track into the system. But again, if it could save you some money and do it the other way, I would do it. Amazon shows data that it converts a 5 to 6% increase in sales just from that piece of content alone. And this is multiple pieces of content, really, because you determine how many modules that you put in this space, and you could really own the page and really build out a lot of real estate on your individual listing. So it is a great, great tool to use. You could also file your trademark on the USPTO.gov website. And what this does, it's a very simple site to use. You can click trademarks here. I start the search and trademark database, and right here you can search the system. The first thing that you should do when you're trying to file a trademark, and this will save you some time, is that you should do a quick search for the name that you're trying to trademark. You got to make sure that there's nobody else existing on there. In this case, let's do AMZ Simple. So here you're not seeing anything. You kind of scroll down a little bit, see if there's anything. Now, if this said AMZ Simple and it was a live trademark, that could be an issue. But the next step, you would read the goods and services and see if it has anything to do with your business. Is it related to your business? So if there's a name of another business and it's related to you, I would probably suggest going after something else. However, if you see, again, AMZ Simple and it says dead or canceled, then you know that business is no longer actively using their trademark. So it is open for grabs. So again, these are things that you want to take a look at before you file your trademark, just to make sure that the name that you are looking for tends to be available. Again, if you see nothing on the name that you're trying to go after, you should be in pretty good shape. But again, if you're not sure, seek the advice of an attorney, trademark attorney, and that'll help you make sure that you don't make any mistakes, no costly errors in your filings, having to redo anything or lose any time. Now you should have everything that you need to file for an Amazon seller account. So all these pieces of information are very important in that role. The next tutorial that we have will show you what to do with those documents, how to use them, and how to set up that new account. So thanks for watching our first tutorial session. Make sure if you found this information helpful to like and share this video, subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them below or send me a DM and we can try to get back to you as soon as possible. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode as we show you how to set up your Amazon seller account. Thanks for watching.